Today we're taking a closer look at and showing you how to install the Spike extendable truck bed rack with platform tray and side rail fitting all Ford Super Duties. Now you should be checking out this extremely useful rack and platform system if you'd like to increase the cargo holding capabilities on your rig. Now this platform and rack can support upwards of 660 pounds thanks to the durable powder coated aluminum build, and can be had here on the site for just north of that $1,500 to $1,600 price point. So I feel like this bed rack and platform combo will be extremely useful to truck owners of all types due to the functionality it will add. For instance, if you are a tradesman, then adding something like this will give you more space to store construction materials, ladders, or whatever else, while still leaving your bed open for additional cargo. Now, on the other hand, the rack and platform would make a great base for an overland tent or awning, while again still allowing the bed to be used for other gear. Now the crossbar is another opportunity for gear such as jerry cans, traction boards, or whatever else, and again just opens up more spots for functionality. Another feature I really dig here is the fact that you can install this with some retractable style bed covers to help keep that bed cargo secured. Now that's not something that's always possible with other racking systems in the aftermarket, and again it only applies to select retractable covers and will not work with flipping or folding covers. But let's move into the construction block because there is a lot to talk about here. Now, the rack itself is going to be built from durable powder coated aluminum, and the rack again is capable of supporting upwards of 660 pounds due to the design. Now, the platform does measure a rather large 63 by 56 inches and does have height adjustability ranging from 12 to 30 inches. Now, the rack itself is extendable. For instance, we got some of the rails here, which will allow this thing to extend or retract depending on your bed length. Now the rack is going to weigh in at a total of 132 pounds, so definitely not light. It is burly and built to handle some serious weight, as we mentioned earlier. Now I should note, guys, that the rack is designed for universal fitment, so some modification may be needed depending on your year, but I would say most owners should expect a pretty straightforward bolt-on job. Now, price point for the Spike rack here, this will come in right around that mid to high $1,000 price point. So again, expect this to round out the higher end of the pricing spectrum on the site when comparing this to other bed rack options, especially those that do offer an additional platform such as this. All right, last but not least, now we want to show you what it takes to get this rack and platform installed on your Super Duty at home. Site is going to call this a solid 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you a couple of hours, I would say, to get in place from start to finish. But now again, to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, a swivel adapter, a 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter if necessary, 4, 5, 6, and 10 millimeter Allen sockets, a 13 millimeter socket, 13 millimeter wrench, and a measuring tape, and also possibly an extra set of hands.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a bed rack on our F-250, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is install our bases for our brackets on our bed rack. What we're going to do is grab 2 of our provided 8 millimeter Allen head bolts with lock washers and our square washers. We're going to drop those through our mounting slots. We're going to set this on. Now we're just going to get these loosely in place for now. We'll need to measure and square off everything so our rack goes on evenly. And on the back side of those, we're going to grab our clamps. You want to line those up with your bolts, and you want to grab an 8 millimeter Allen socket. Get these started. You want to make sure this hooks into the bed rail. And we're just going to get it snug. We're not tightening these down just yet. We'll do the same thing for this one. Once you have this one in, you can do the same thing for the other 3. So now that we have all of our bases loosely in place, we're going to grab a tape measure and square everything off. So we're going to come from the inside of our bed rail. We're going to base it off of this first one. We are about 7 3/4 inches. Again, this can vary a little bit. This is adjustable, but we're just going to use our base measurement, 7 3/4 from there. Then between our bases, we have exactly 33 inches. So we're going to make sure the other side lines up, and then we can tighten these down. Okay. Now we have everything squared off. We'll come back and tighten these down again with our 8mm Allen socket. You want to make sure these bases are flush with the bed rail, then we can do the same thing for the other 3. So now that we have our bases set up, we can start attaching our legs. They're going to sit onto our base platform like so. And we're going to grab 3 of our provided 5mm Allen bolts with lock washers and flat washers. Get those in place. This middle one is kind of awkward to get to. You get your 2 outer ones first. Get that middle one in. Get that started as best you can. Okay. And we'll come in with our 5mm Allen socket and tighten these down. Now for this middle one, you will need a swivel adapter, and it's best to come from the outside. Now once you have this one in, you can do the same thing for the other 3. So now that we've got all of our main brackets in, we're going to set our height for our crossbars. Now this does have pretty much a measuring tape or indicators along the way, and we're going to set our front one basically right at the height of the top of our cab. So that's going to be at the 25 mark. So we'll grab our 6mm Allen socket and tighten these down. Now you got 2 on the inside, and then on the outside you have 2 of the exact same bolts. So we'll tighten this down, and we'll set all the rest to the exact same height. And once you've got all those tight and set at the right height, we're going to install our crossbars. So on the bottom of these, there is a slot with some double nut plates. So we're going to flip that over, lay this on top. Now these also have measuring marks on both sides, so we're going to set those at the same mark on each side and kind of upright these brackets a little bit. So what we'll do, we'll grab 2 of our 5mm Allen bolts with lock washers and flat washers. Essentially going to pull this bracket back. It does get a little tough to see under here. You want to make sure that your bolts line up. Get these started. Now we're going to tighten this side down, and then we'll be able to maneuver the other side into the same measuring mark on that side. Now we'll grab our 5mm Allen socket and tighten these down. Then we can set the other side using this as our reference for our measurement. Now once you've got your first crossbar in, you can do the same thing for your other crossbar and use this as a reference. Now we can install our support bars. So these are adjustable, they just slide in and out. So we're going to get one side mounted first. We're going to grab 2 of our 4mm Allen head bolts. Get this side in. Once we get that first one in, we'll extend this out to mount on the other side. And then we can grab our other 2 bolts for the other 2 holes. Get this one in. And this one. Then we'll tighten these down with our 4mm Allen socket on our ratchet. And we'll do the same thing for the other side. And once you have this side in, you can do the same thing for your other rail. All right guys, so now that we have our bed rack together, it's time to start assembling our cargo platform. So we have our skeleton up on the table. We've got our two sides with our rounded ends. We're gonna attach our cross pieces into those. So to do that, we're gonna use our small 3mm Allen head bolts and get these locked into their slots in the corner. So basically gonna go in like this. Slide this up so it sits nicely on the platform. And we're gonna get two of our bolts in this corner loosely. We're not gonna tighten them down yet. Then we'll get the rest of our corners attached, and then we'll come back and tighten it down. This is a pretty tight fit, so you will need to kind of squeeze this together. You may even need to tip this up. Kind of put some more pressure on it. And lock that end slot into that channel. Now that we've got this side in, we'll do the same thing for our other three corners. So now it's time to start installing our center platform pieces. So these are going to line up with the threaded inserts at the holes on your platform skeleton. You're going to line up like so. Then you're going to have to go underneath and install your hardware. So we'll get a couple of these in line and then install our hardware, and then we can do the same for the rest of them. So now we've got our platform lined up, so we'll grab a couple of our 4mm Allen head bolts, lock washers and flat washers, get those into our threaded inserts. Now we're just going to get these hand tight for the time being. You want to have adjustment room to install the rest of them, so we'll install the two on the other side as well. And once you have one in, you can do the same thing for the rest of your platform bars. So now we can install our lower support bars. So we're going to slide these in like so. You do want the slots to face the bottom, which is kind of counterintuitive for the way the threaded inserts are. They're going to mount on the ends. Now you have a couple options whether you want it to go farther in or farther out. It's really up to you. And then you have one center one, and you're going to have the same on the other side. So once we have those in, we're going to grab our 4mm Allen head bolts with lock washers and flat washers. We're going to get one in on each end for the bottom. And once you have this in and hand tight, we'll do the same thing for the other two. So now that we have everything in place, we're going to start tightening everything down. And we're going to start with our 3mm Allen head bolts on the outer edges, then work our way in with our 4mm Allen socket. So tighten these outer ones down. Then we'll work our way around. Now that we've got those all tight, we can tighten down our support bars and our main platform bars with our 4mm Allen socket. You just want to work your way around, tighten everything down. So now it's time to install our interlocking brackets. They're going to go on those threaded inserts in between our platform rails. They have little slots they're going to hook into each rail. Then we're going to grab our 4mm Allen head bolts with lock washers and flat washers. Get those into our threaded inserts. And we'll grab our 4mm Allen socket. Tighten those down, and you can repeat the same process for the rest of your brackets.
Alrighty folks, now that we have our cargo platform assembled, we're going to get it up onto our bed rack. Now one thing to note is you will need to adjust your bed rack accordingly if you are installing your cargo platform for it to sit inside the footprint. You just want to measure that out and get that set in place. So now we'll grab our cargo platform, get that on top, get it bolted down, and we'll be good to go.
Now we've got our cargo platform up in the bed. It's definitely easiest to do it this way because obviously it's pretty tall once you've got your bed rack on. So we'll lean this up, grab it from the bottom. We want our bed rack rails to line up with our support beam on our cargo platform. Get that situated. Get this centered up. So now that we have the cargo rack on the bed rack, we're gonna need to remove a couple of these inserts that we installed in order to get our U-bolts onto the bracket. So we're gonna grab our 4mm Allen socket, pop these out. Once you have that out, you can set your U-bolt bracket in. It's gonna sit in the channels on your crossbar platform. Next, we can take our lower U-bolt bracket, set that on the bottom side of our bed rail. We'll drop our bolt and flat washer in. Once we get one side on, I'll hold this in place. It's gonna be a little bit tricky, but you wanna get your flat washer on first, followed by your lock washer. And the provided nut. Once you get that one on a couple threads, that'll hold it in place. You get your other bolt through with your flat washer. And once again, flat washer, lock washer, nut, and we'll get these tightened down. Now to tighten these down, we're going to grab our 13mm socket and 13mm wrench. And once you have this one on, you can repeat this process for your other 3 brackets. So now we can get our support bars in. So we're going to add in our nut plates. Slide those roughly into position. You're going to need 3 of them. I kind of get them lined up where they're going to mount. We're going to grab our provided O-ring bolts. Get our first one in place. This one a couple threads in. And what we'll do, move the others in position. Now your middle one's going to be a regular Allen head bolt with a lock washer and a flat washer. I'm going to get that lined up. Now that we've got that one in, we'll get our last anchor bolt in over here. We'll make sure this is pretty centered. We'll tighten these down. And we'll need our Allen wrench to tighten that one. That'll be a 5mm Allen wrench. You can just snug that one down. Then you can do the same thing on the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Spike Universal Extendable Truck Bed Rack with crossbar, platform tray, and side rail. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything F-250, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.